What happens when you make AIs debate each other. You add one line to your config and it's in the debate. You're more likely to catch a bad answer. Generate, critique, and then synthesize. Did you know that LLMs are better at grading answers than actually generating them? Yes, that means a model is more likely to spot a bad answer than to avoid writing one. And there's research behind this. And a framework called LLM Council exploits that asymmetry brilliantly. It makes models write, then makes other models tear those answers apart before a chairman AI synthesizes the winner. So today I'm setting LLM Council up, running it live, showing you exactly what happens when you make AIs debate each other. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly how LLM Council works. You will see the full 3-stage deliberation pipeline in action, and you'll have everything that you need to run it yourself. So let's get into it. But first, what is LLM Council? Well, Andrej Karpathy, one of the most respected names in AI, he spent a weekend building something and quietly pushed it to GitHub. He called it Vibe-coded hack. It went viral within the hours. The idea is almost embarrassingly simple. Don't trust one model, make them debate with each other. Now, here's the problem he was trying to solve. When you ask a single LLM a complex question, you get one perspective shaped by one training run with one set of blind spots. The model might hallucinate a fact and present it with complete confidence. It might have a subtle stylistic bias baked into how it was already trained, and you have no way to know that because you only heard one voice. Now, Karpathy's insight was to treat models less like oracles and more like committee members. You wouldn't make a major engineering decision based on the opinion of one person. You'd get multiple smart people in a room, have them each give their takes, then have them critique each other, and then you would synthesize a conclusion. That's exactly what LLM Council does, except the committee is GPT-4o, Claude, Gemini, and Llama, all running in parallel and cross-examining each other's answers. Now, the framework runs a strict 3-stage deliberation pipeline. Let me walk you through each one. Now, stage 1 is first opinions. Your query goes out to every council model simultaneously, not sequentially, in parallel using async IO. This matters because you don't want Model B seeing Model A's answer before forming its own. Each model responds independently. You get raw, uninfluenced perspectives, and they often disagree in really interesting ways. Now, stage 2 is blind peer review. Here's where the system gets really clever. It strips every model's name from the stage 1 responses and relabels them. Response A, B, response C. Then each model is fed all the responses and asked to rank them based on accuracy, reasoning, and quality without knowing who wrote what. There's no brand favoritism, no, oh, that's GPT, so it's probably right, pure evaluation on merit. The backend then aggregates these rankings, so if response B consistently gets ranked first by 3 out of 4 models, that creates a strong statistical signal going into the next stage. So stage 3 is the chairman. A designed chairman model, usually the highest capability model in your configuration. It receives everything. The original prompt, all stage 1 responses, all stage 2 peer reviews, and the aggregate rankings. Its job is to act as the adjudicator. It synthesizes all of that into a single grounded authoritative final answer, not a copy-paste of the winner, a genuine synthesis that incorporates the strongest reasoning from across the debate. Now that is the full pipeline. Generate, critique, and then synthesize. And it's backed by real numbers. Now, MIT's research has shown accuracy can jump from 70% to 95% when models debate instead of answering alone. And that's not a marginal improvement, I think. That's a different category of reliability. The problem with Andrej's approach is it runs locally. You need Python, a terminal. Most people can't or won't set it up. So they go back to doing stuff manually. Ask ChatGPT, get an answer, paste it into Claude, get a different answer, paste it into Gemini, get yet another answer, compare, lose your train of thought, and then give up. Now, you can think of Cuey as Karpathy's insight made accessible for everyone. You've got a Chrome extension, a prompt, 30 plus models debating in the background. There's no terminal, no setup, no copy pasting. The people getting the most from AI aren't really trusting one answer. They are comparing these, and Cuey is making that possible and default without an exception. It's built for research, strategy, advice. If you want to check it out, Cuey.io, it's in the description. All right, so let's set this up from scratch. The first thing we're going to do is clone the repo, git clone. I'm just copying. The backend runs on Python. The project uses UE for package management. If you haven't used it, it's fast, clean, and it respects your log file. Then you run. That installs every backend dependency in one shot. Then for the front end, and now the configuration, create a .environment file in the project root. This is where your API keys will live. OpenRouter is the gateway that lets you call GPT, Claude, Gemini, Llama, all through a single API key. One key, all of these models, which is exactly what makes this architecture practical. Now open backend config.py. This is your nerve center of the whole system. And here's what you're defining. Council models. I've got OpenAI GPT 4.0, Anthropic Claude 3 Sonnet 4.5, whatever you want, Google Gemini Pro, Meta's Llama, Chairman model, OpenAI GPT 4.0. Your council members are whoever you want debating, and your chairman is whoever you trust most in the synthesis. You can swap these out anytime, different models, different costs, different trade-offs. That flexibility is by design, and you could choose your own. Now fire it up, run the backend with UV run and the front end with npm run dev, and the UI opens the browser and it looks clean, a sidebar for conversations, a query input, and a tabbed result panel. That's about to get very, very interesting. Now I'm going to ask it something hard. What's the best architecture for a high throughput Python API that needs to handle both sync and async workloads? A question where reasonable engineers legitimately disagree. Now watch stage 1. 4 tabs appear, 1 per model. Click through them. GPT leans heavily into fast API with async worker pools. Claude flags the independence mismatch between sync and async code and recommends a hybrid approach with separate process pools. Gemini brings up Starlet's raw performance characteristics and same prompt for genuinely different takes. That's the value of the fan out right there. Now stage 2 is the model names are gone. Response A through D. Each model has ranked the others and written a qualitative critique. Watch Claude get called out anonymously for being too abstract without concrete implementations on guidance. Watch GPT's response climb to the top of the aggregate rankings 3 out of 4 times, and no one knew who wrote what. That's a clean signal. Now, stage 3 is your chairman. It gets all of this and produces the final answer. And it's noticeably better than any individual stage 1 responses. It incorporates the hybrid architecture Claude suggested, the fast API specifics GPT provided, and that directly addresses the criticism that is raised in the peer review. Green background, authoritative grounding, that's your answer. Now, let's zoom out for a second because I did not show this to you just because it's a cool demo. I really want you to genuinely understand that the most immediate benefit is hallucination reduction, and the mechanism matters here. It's not that the models become individually smarter, it's that models are better discriminators than they are generators. They are more likely to catch a bad answer than to avoid writing a bad answer. The peer review phase exploits that. Bad reasoning gets flagged before it reaches you. And second is no vendor lock-in. You can really swap out council members as new models drop. When a new frontier model releases, you add one line to your config and it's in the debate. The framework doesn't care who the models are. The third is, and this is the one that I think gets really underrated, is the transparency of reasoning. With a single model chat, you get an answer. You have no idea how it got there or what it might have missed. With LLM Council, you see the entire inner debate, and you can read stage 1 and notice that the 3 out of the 4 models agreed on something, or that one model raises a concern that others don't. That visibility changes how much you can trust the final answer because you can actually audit those answers. Now, real use cases for this are code architectural decisions, legal document reviews, financial analysis, any domain where a wrong answer has real consequences, and you want the reasoning to be inspectable. Now, there's definitely cost implications to this. You're paying for 4 different calls, 5 different calls, but it can be helpful in a scenario where you really care about the quality of the response and the authenticity of the response. If you found this useful, drop a comment below, and I would love to know what is the hardest question that you would throw at an LLM council. And if you want to go deeper on multi-agent AI architectures, that video is right up next. I'll see you there.